Welcome back to Autism for Badass Moms. I'm so excited because we have another amazing, beautiful, badass mom who decided to come to the studio. And I love when my moms come to the studio. From Yonkers, New York. Her name is Mitzi. And Mitzi, again, absolutely beautiful. We're going to be talking about community and finding strength and in community. It's really important. I know it's challenging to find people that just actually get your story. And so we're going to talk about Mitzi's journey to finding her people. Love it. So let's get started. Mitzi, talk to me. Your daughter, Misa. Love that name. Okay.
Thank
If I had another daughter,
Mhm.
her name would be Misa.
Thank
I
you.
just, yeah.
And she is one of a kind, trust me.
Yeah.
She is hopefully you'll be able to meet her one day.
Oh,
But
okay.
she's just so amazing, so friendly, she has that energy that's like contagious, like
Oh,
when
wow.
if she sees you right now, she's like, "Oh my God, I love that red blazer.
Ooh.
Your hair is beautiful. You look like a queen." She's
Ooh.
always trying
What's
to,
her?
huh?
Why is she not here? Because I would love that. The
I know.
compliments.
She's with grandma right now, grandpa,
Oh,
but she's amazing. And
yeah.
I'm so appreciative of this journey because
Hmm.
it's taught me a lot about myself, about the world, the community.
Yeah,
And, we got a lot of work to do still.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, let's go back to prior to the diagnosis, when you got the diagnosis, what was going on at that time?
So, first and foremost, Misa came about 5.5 weeks early. So, let's say I was, due for her to be delivered, I would say July 6th. She was
Hmm.
born May 31st.
So that was not expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, considering it was my first child, you know, um, I was a bit nervous. I happened to, I guess my water broke early, which resulted in them inducing me. And, she came. And I would say, when she was first born, like the newborns, they have to go get the shots, go
Hmm.
see the pediatricians. Uh, just me being a new mom, I felt like the pediatrician that I had, which somewhat, delivered her,
Hmm.
um, he was like very cold. I just felt an energy from him. Like he didn't smile. Even my mom, she was just concerned.
Okay.
He had like no compassion. Not saying he was like rough with her because he can't be rough, but it was just his energy.
Hmm.
Like
You just felt like
wasn't,
that.
it wasn't right for me. It wasn't sitting well with me. So, some of my families recommended a doctor that actually, were their children's pediatrician
Hmm.
and also my older cousin. So this is like a doctor in the field for years. Like he's been in the family pediatrician. So they
Okay.
recommended him to me. And it was the best thing that I could have done because he was the one that suggested me to get early intervention.
How soon did you switch? Like, how long were you with this
Oh, I would
pediatrician?
say so she might have just turned 2 years old
Oh,
or
okay.
a year.
So that was a long time with this, pediatrician.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, just me being a new mom,
Hmm.
going through the process, just making sure she has all her immunizations, which is
Hmm.
a, different story now because
Right.
talking about that. But, it was just, yeah, I was just trying to get through the process,
Hmm.
learned, as much as I can. It's scary, you know.
When she came early, was there any concerns from the doctor? Like, did
Well,
they?
not from him,
Okay.
not from the first pediatrician.
Hmm.
This is initially why, I got someone else recommended to me. Uh, so the new pediatrician, he basically like seen, eye contact, like
Hmm.
little things, social, verbal, communication. I feel
Oh.
like at 2 years old, children are supposed to be able to say
Hmm.
certain words, and she just wasn't really doing that.
Okay.
Um, it was just like a lot of social anxiety she had, not really wanting to be around, a big group of people
Hmm.
or a lot of family. She was just like uncomfortable. It was just like, just something that, just he seen like some milestones that she should have
Right.
passing.
Were you
So,
feeling like there was something? Again, it's your first child, so it's hard unless you've grown up with a lot of kids.
Right. Well, at 2.5, I started to see, like 2 years old, I started to see, like I said, socially, like I would go to like barbecues with family, and she would just have like this big meltdown, and a lot of times, like I said, me being a new mom, it was just like I would leave, I
Right.
would leave, family, friends, everyone's looking like,
What's
it
going
was just me,
on?
like, I just wanted to get out of there and just kind of make sure she was comfortable. But it was just like a lot. Like she wouldn't give eye contact a lot.
Okay.
To my family members would try to play with her and stuff, and she was just like in her own, zone. Like we've seen some red flags. So anyway, we talked to the doctor. He wrote a prescription for intervention, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. I've always worked in my life. So, throughout, she's 12 years old. So I've always had like a full-time job and just balancing motherhood and work. So we had a random, I believe, evaluation, like not a random, well, they're like, oh, this is a day we're going to do this evaluation. And my mom, she plays a big part in my life.
Okay.
Especially as Misa's grandmother, just hands-on since she was born, there for me. So technically when I'm at work, Misa's with her because it's like daycare, I know now I think they accept children 2 months and older in daycare. It's like, no, my mom, very overprotective with her. I was, let's make sure she's around family. She can't, really
That's
communicate.
great that you had
And
her. Yeah.
yes, so she sacrificed a lot of her time, grandma, to take care of her while I went to work. And the work that I do is community based.
Okay.
So, I think we had something scheduled that day really important at work, and they just randomly like, hey, we're going to do this evaluation that day. So my mom's like, it's okay. The person's going to come to the house. I'll be with her and the evaluator, and I'll let you know what they say.
Okay. So
I'm at work just thinking about talking to my mom all day. Like, did she get there yet? What's going on? She's like, oh, she evaluated her, and, I guess the evaluator wrote down the diagnosis on the card. Like, I guess she automatically knew what Misa was diagnosed with.
Okay.
Which was autism spectrum disorder. Like I said, I wasn't there that day, but it's, of course, testing the child's milestones, just anything that I was concerned about, but this is a professional. So it's like she knows automatically. And this is a community-based professional that comes in and does evaluations for children.
Right.
And diagnoses them. So she's like, all right. She diagnosed her. I'll talk to you when you get here. So I'm like, I'm just gonna come.
So your mom didn't tell you like
She didn't want to really tell me over the phone.
Okay.
So she's like, just come to the house. Leave work for a few minutes, come to the house. So I went to the house, and she gave me a card, and it said autism spectrum disorder. And I was like, I didn't really know what autism was.
Right.
I mean, I feel like in our communities, specifically Black communities, autism is not talked about or wasn't. I mean, Misa was born in 2013. Now we're in 2026. There's a lot of more awarenesses.
Right.
Things being talked about. But it was fairly new for me. I mean, I knew autism, like, you kind of put a stigma on what that is. So when I seen autism spectrum disorder, I was like, wow, like automatically like broke down.
Right.
And me and Misa's dad actually worked together. So I went back to work, and I'm like, this is what she has. And I broke down in tears.
Now, did you go back to work that day, or
I went back to work that day. Yes.
Oh.
I had to go back. It was almost the end of the day. So I was just like, went to go finish something.
Okay.
But it was just like, you see me as a mother just trying to balance
Right.
and deal with these emotions. So I showed him, I'm like, she's diagnosed with autism. I started just bawling because I was scared. And it was like, oh, man. So after that, it was like game time. Right? We got to move forward and do what we need to do. I had a daycare at work. So
okay.
If I had to go, if my mother, like, she had a doctor's appointment or something, I'm like, look, I don't leave her with anybody anyway. So I'm going to bring her to work with me. I'm going to talk to the staff. They know me. So I know that she's going to be fairly taken care of.
Okay.
Because they know, I'm their coworker, and
Mhm.
they just, they know, how to care for her. Just from me, like telling them, like, listen, she's not verbal that much, but just, and she would like walk away from certain things and kind of like go in a corner by herself, and they noticed it as well. So it was just like she would, while I was at work, they kind of held her down in the daycare so she can get some type of interaction socially, because it's like I'm trying to use my resources now.
Mhm.
But she did have a speech therapist which came to the house. Her name was Alyssa. She was amazing.
Shout out to Alyssa.
Yes, Alyssa. And I just reconnected with her on Facebook. It just like, and I have their picture from when Misa was like 2 years old, and she
Aw.
was at the house like hugging her. And she like really, really enjoyed spending time with
Mhm.
Misa. So shout out to all the speech therapists.
Your mom.
Yes. Everyone that kind of, really was there for me and made a difference during that time. Speech therapist. Okay, we're going to fast forward. Now it's like she's getting into the preschool time where she has to, have to pick a school now.
Mhm.
But of course, I have a list of special schools, and I picked a school which was amazing.
Mhm.
That was very hands-on with the children, because you have to have an environment for special needs children that's made for them, smaller classrooms, maybe 4 to 5 teachers. So she was a part of this wonderful school, and this was like most of her preschool years before pre-K. Now this is before elementary, like
Okay.
pre-K is elementary, right? Yeah, kindergarten.
Every-
No. Yeah, so there's pre-K, and then kindergarten is elementary school. All right, that's when we start getting into the school system. So I remember when I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Like I said, the school was amazing. I would just get up in the morning. She had to be to school at 7:30.
Okay.
I had to be to school at 8 o'clock. I had to be to school. I had to be to work at 8. So it was like drop her off at 7:30.
And then
I would drive to her school, drop her off, and then go to work. All day at work. She would get, and they also had transportation. Like she would get dropped off home sometimes. So basically, once she was about to, age out of pre-K, we had that big board of education meeting. And, Misa still had a lot to work on, as far as just occupational therapy, motor skills.
Okay.
Still the eye contact. I feel like her diet was, she ate a variety of things. My mother, she's one of those old school moms, so she was putting, vegetables on that plate and making sure her baby ate, right? So she was introduced early to a lot of different foods. So, she was able, she was okay. Like as far as going to school, making sure she ate, making sure she had everything she needed. Like I said, the school was great. Once she aged out, and we sat around the table to have that meeting. I'll never forget, she had she had struggles. She was getting better, of course. Let's go back. One of the struggles, and it's not really a struggle, but this is who she is, because I know who she is now. Okay. I told you, when she walks in the room, if she sees you, she's like, oh, queen, oh, I love this, I love that. She started, basically, they put a note on the door and said, when you come in, please make sure you say hi to Misa. If you didn't say hi to her, she would have a total meltdown.
Oh, okay.
Hi. That was one of her things. If you didn't say hi to her, she would have like a total meltdown. So they would put on a sign on the door, like, make sure you say hi to her. And then they changed the sign and said, please don't say hi to her, because they wanted to redirect.
Right.
They wanted her to get out, slowly but surely get out of that, repetition of just wanting people. Because, if they didn't say it how she wanted, she would break down.
Yeah.
Right. And this is like not even only in school. We're talking about that, you know, when we're out and about, you know, some people don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, the meltdowns and things like that. So, you know, the school really tried to work with her, and they did. They did an amazing job. And this is right before kindergarten, before she entered the public school system. So that day, we had the big meeting with the Board of Education. My mom was there. The teachers that she worked with was there. And despite all of her struggles and everything that she was going through, the Board of Education, the director that's in charge of placement for the special education, she was like, she doesn't have autism.
Oh, wow. In that meeting?
The teachers looked at her like, no. Look, what do you mean? You know, she does have autism. Obviously, it's, you know, but it's like they didn't want to pay for her, you know, for special services. You know what I mean? They didn't want to go the extra mile for her. So they thought it was just easier to say she didn't have it or what have you, you know, and she clearly did. She clearly does. And that's the other thing about girls, you know, they're more likely to get undiagnosed because,
Absolutely.
you know, people don't, you know, really take it serious. You know, a lot of boys, I believe that's the stats, right? They get diagnosed quicker and faster.
And then also too, right? Like if the child is, you know, able to speak, if they're not stimming or it's not as profound, then they're good. They're okay.
Right. That hurt.
Yeah.
Because she totally disregarded everything, you know, and her teachers literally had to advocate for her. Like, what are you talking about? Like, really got upset at her. And then fast forward that, they sent her to a public school, which was a special education class. She was in a special education class.
Okay.
The problem with that was, and you know that every special needs child has an IEP, right? This IEP is to, you know, advise others their needs, what we need to work on, you know, just anything related to the child that can help move the child forward. So, like I said, as a new mom, I mean, she's 4.5, 5. She's 5 now. So it's like I'm entering a large school. It's not like Fred Keller. She's in a class with 19 kids.
That must have been so overwhelming.
19 children. And the teachers are overwhelmed. She's crying. She's having meltdown. She's going through things. And they're like talking to me like, we don't know what's wrong.
No, but
I said, wait.
You when she was
Yes.
Okay.
I have to go get her. Just certain things. It's so long ago. So much. Mm-hmm. They couldn't like handle her emotional. They didn't know. They were like, oh, we don't know what's wrong. Come to find out, all right, we in kindergarten, right? The teacher goes, I'm talking to the teacher. I'm like, yeah, you know, with her autism. She's like, she has autism? I said, what do you mean? So all of this time she was in your class, you didn't know she was on the spectrum. I think it said other. You see that? And I told you, that lady sat with me, the director of the Board of Education, and she said she doesn't. Right? So now the IEP says other something. Mm-hmm. It didn't say autism. Okay. So now I'm like, I'm really upset. How don't you know? What is going on with y'all?
Mm-hmm. I just see you getting emotional.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. Because it brings back memories. Yeah. You know, it's like, how could you know, when you look from the outside in, like, how could people really do something like that? Like, how could you be so cold? And this is a child, you know, to put her in a situation where she's not getting what she needs. You know, so it was just like, well, the teacher knows now, obviously, right? And it was still like, so she's still in the same school where now we're working with, and the thing is about fighting for your child, it takes time sometimes. It's a process. Like you have to go through meetings. You have to get turned away, shut down, you know, not taken seriously for people to actually, you know, give your child what they need. And
it's like you have to document and prove.
And prove.
And the diagnosis is so important for many of things, to get things paid for.
Exactly. So the child is not misdiagnosed. So they, especially early on, it's so important. Time is passing too. We wanna, you know, hit this nail on the nose early.
But now you're a working mom, trying to take care of your daughter, trying to understand, her needs, and then the school is just seems aloof or whatever. Who was there supporting you? Because that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Really
So
frustrating.
as far as my support system, me and my daughter's father at the time was together,
Mhm.
but I was like the main person, like going to the meetings, doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just as a woman, just trying to, and another thing is I always bring up like the strong Black woman thing. I watch my mom be strong, do things. Of course, my dad was around, but back in the day, it's like the men are going to work. They're not really hands on. They don't have the patience or whatever the case is. So I'm just like watching my mom do all these things, and I'm like following the same thing. So I'm like, I got to do this. I got to do that. Sometimes you don't ask for help, but look, I know now in my life, if you don't ask, you don't get. So you have to tell people that you need support. You need what you need. So that was that, right?
Was there times where you felt? Because I know for myself, there were times I broke down in private.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was just like, well, people don't. I need to just get this done, and what is that going to help? But you had those moments where,
Of course, overwhelming because also, I'm at work and I'm dealing with things at work, like stress at work, people rely on me so much. And it's like, I'm like hyper depressed because I'm just keeping it moving, doing all these things. So, yes, it was a lot of breakdowns. It was a lot of isolations because, even when I got invited places just to do that, I didn't want to go, and even with friends and stuff, I've even felt like some of my friends probably felt some type of way, like they might have like had a baby shower, they might have had this, and it's like I might have said I was going, but I'm not going today. Like, you understand? And they don't understand. Like they don't really understand. I'm thinking they're not gonna understand, when I go in here, if I gotta leave or my daughter's like, uncomfortable or something, and I just don't want to be bothered. I'm overwhelmed. So anyway, let's stay on topic. So we're going back to the schools. All right. She's in the same school. First grade. She had a teacher, like I said. The classes were extremely overcrowded. So there's children in the same class, 19 kids. Some of these kids have autism. I mean, they probably wouldn't know because everything's all over the place.
Yeah.
So you just imagine, all right, I'm a mother that's like, what? You guys are not discussing she has autism, but what about the parents that are just not,
they're thinking that
oblivious
everything's
or
fine,
not, or don't even, sometimes parents go through things where they're in a whole nother different world and they're not paying attention. They just send them to school.
Yeah.
So it's like, she's in a class with 19 kids and, she's like getting pulled out the chair, hit, because some kids have different behavior issues. Not all of it is autism, but some of it might be, or maybe they don't know. But 19 kids, you're talking about 19 kids in a class. Teachers frustrated. They don't really know what to do. I'm upset because, like, why is my daughter getting hit? Or, what's going on? So now I'm still in the process of trying to, eventually she's going to have to go to a different school.
Yeah.
Going to meetings. The first grade teacher was actually also the second grade teacher. So once she left first grade, she went to the same teacher as second grade. And this was like, okay, well, we know this teacher. So she knows my daughter for the most part.
Okay.
So it was like, all right, she has the same teacher. So I ended up, we like every year we have our annual meetings. So this is second grade now.
Okay.
And this is the same teacher that she's had in first grade. Okay. I'm meeting with with the school, with the Board of Education, with the teacher. And again, they did it to me again. They knew all her struggles and they still shut her down. They're like, she's going to be in the same class or she's going to be in the same type of class next year. And this is it. Yeah, we know. Like, basically, we know that she needs more services, but it is what it is. We're sending her back. And, you know, I had so many times where I sat in those meetings and just felt like she was being rejected. I'm being rejected. And it was just like so discouraging.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, they slammed the door in my face the last meeting. I believe we had it virtually, you know. The teacher she has, the same teacher from first grade, now her second grade teacher. She's like, you know, this child needs more services. She needs more. She's telling the school. They're like, no, well, you know, this is what it is right now. I felt rejected. We all ended the meeting. The teacher called me back and was like, I'm so sorry. And this is a Caucasian woman too. She's like, I'm so sorry. You know, like I'm sorry that they totally disregarded. And I'm like, oh, like, you know, so I think there was an event or something where my mom was a part of a meeting. I'm not sure, but my mom told me that her teacher, or she might have picked my daughter up from school early. And the teacher was like, just put a bug in my mom's ear. She was like, please get her out the school system. Like, please. Like, this is a teacher telling us that, you know, like she needs to get out the school system. So back to me. I do a lot of community work. The community work that I do, I basically bridge a lot of gaps and bring a lot of resources within the community network, a lot of city officials, a lot of healthcare agencies, you know, different organizations that have free services for the community, because I technically work with vulnerable people and, you know, mental health, whatever it is. So I know people, right? So I'm like, okay. So there was one city official, shout out to him, that basically referred me to a special education lawyer.
Okay.
That and he was actually a lawyer too. But he's like, talk to this man, you know, tell him what you're going through. So I think I started going on. The special education lawyer used to do special education IEP info sessions for the community. So he was telling people what to look for when you're having these IEP meetings, what to do, what not. Don't, you know, he was like really great. I'm like, I'm going to have a talk with him. So he ended up being my special education lawyer. All right. So he, you know, fought for her. With the whole when you're trying to get your child, you know, in a different class setting and you have to fight for them, it's very, very important for your pediatrician, everyone to be on deck, to know, to be connected, you know, and to know what's going on. So neurologists are very, very important. You have to have things in writing. You have to have different advocates. I think also, let me go back. I'm sorry. I don't want to go all over the place, but I forgot something.
It's all right.
So somebody had gave me, like, you remember I was saying she was in kindergarten, same school, went to first grade, first and second grade had the same teacher. Through the whole process, I'm like, like, with they got to do better for her. Being that they didn't know she was on a spectrum, that really hurt me. Because it's like, like, y'all not taking her serious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That really broke me. Because I'm like, if anything, you're supposed to communicate. But I didn't know the IEP, everything. And that's why, please, you know, review paperwork. Because I didn't even realize that they put her under other. They didn't put her under spectrum. And I told you she was diagnosed with all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At 2.5. And we're talking about 4 years old now. So I'm like trying to use every resource to try to figure this out. So there was an advocacy, a student advocacy program, right? Like a student advocacy program where you would be signed an advocate, and basically they would advocate for your child. They would go to the IEP meetings with you and stuff like that. So I had her. She was great, an older lady. She was great. But man, I invited her on that IEP meeting. I really liked her. But for some reason, she decided to side with the school. She works with them. That's what I didn't know. Okay? So I didn't know that. Once she did that, oh no. And also, I have the special education lawyer. You can't do both. I think she was a lawyer too or something, but she worked with student advocacy. So she's working with the Board of Education. But my lawyer is like a lawyer. So you can't have two. You can't have the advocate that's technically a lawyer or whatever she is. You have to go with one person. So I'm choosing my lawyer because he's fighting. He's actually fighting for me. So, you know, neurologists, things like that. Misa was also diagnosed with comprehension dyslexia, ADHD, and she has the autism. So I'm like, the neurologist has and Misa, she was diagnosed in what, 2015, 2016? I was 2015. We're talking about 2021. She has comprehension dyslexia, they're telling me. And what did I say? ADHD. So this is 2021. So it's like, you know, everything was, I needed that. I needed, you know, that information. Right. Because one thing that Misa struggles with, not even a struggle, because she's amazing, but she's perfect to me in every way. But we're not gonna, you know, shy away from what it is, why we're here today. She like understanding, comprehending, you know, a story, who, what, when, why, where, being able to break that down. We're still trying to work with her. She's very smart, knows how to read all that stuff, but understanding, all right, stranger danger. She would go up to a lot of strangers like, we need you to understand why, you know, why you should be careful. We need you to understand the world. We need you to understand why things, you know, like we need you to get it.
It's scary.
It is scary because she needs to understand the situations, you know, in school, whether it's learning. She just needs to understand and be able to break things down. So that made sense with the comprehension dyslexia because she still struggles with it today. Okay. Just being able to understand, tell a story back. And this hurts me because even now, man, she's 12 and I'm like, she's at that age like where I need you to communicate with me. Yeah. And now it's so hard because she's still, her, you know, the stories are choppy. And I think she puts together things that she's her little imaginary world with the real world. And I'm like, I need you to be able to communicate with me, Misa, like, because I need you to be able to understand boundaries, you know? But anyway, I keep going all over the place.
Well, that is a huge, outside of elopement, a fear of someone taking advantage of our kids. Like that's anxiety provoking, very much so.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know, she was able to, you know, with the fight, she was able to get out the district. The district had to basically pay for transportation for her.
Now, how difficult was that? You know, because I think sometimes people think that I just go in and I say, I don't want my child to go to school no more, and that's it.
No, we were like, this was for like almost a year, too. I mean, I told you since first grade. We're like, since that kindergarten situation happened. Right. Y'all not knowing, oh no, we need to do something right now. But I had to find my resources. I had to find what I could, you know, to be able, a new mother, like I don't know much about autism or, you know, my family, they're not like around like that, you know, nobody really, you know, so it's just like, all right. So anyway, she gets out the district where they have to pay for certain services. Technically, they don't want to do that. So they're going to try to fight against, you know, paying for transportation. She needs occupational therapy. She needs speech therapy, okay? Some children need physical therapy. Occupational therapy and speech therapy are like the two important things because it's like motor skills, right? Being able to write, being able to put on her clothes, being able to brush her teeth, being able to do things. I noticed that she would pick up a lot of things like this. You know, their hands, they use their hands a lot. Like, they do a lot of hand movements, but picking up something like the mic. They don't really, like, whatever it is, they won't pick it up correctly. So
They don't
really
use that,
trying
like,
to,
pincher.
really trying to like strengthen those muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And speech. You know, she really started speaking, I would say 3.5, 4, where you could hear words.
How did that make you feel when you started hearing those?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I could say speech, so important. Singing, they said the songs,
Mm-hmm.
what do they call? You know, the rhythm, the
Mm-hmm.
rhymes.
Yeah.
Being able, you know, just constantly singing to your child, because they are like sponges. You know, they might not say it right away, but they're grasping. And the more it's like you have to keep feeding them and teaching them, and just don't give up, you know, for them to really understand. Sometimes you're like thinking, will they ever understand? But they will, in their own way. But she's out of district now, and you know, it's a better environment anywhere that she goes. Plus, she's a little far from me. She's in another she's in another town.
Okay.
So she's, you know, I get nervous because I'm like, I don't know, but I try to be involved, active, you know, with her school. Joining the PTAs, special education PTAs, like really checking in.
But look at you building that community, right? Like, okay, yeah, let me be a part of that PTA.
Bringing them stuff. They have little Valentine's, little parties. I'm showing up. Like, I want y'all to know that I am here.
That's beautiful.
Because you will never, okay, even though, you know, things will fall in between the cracks, because there's things that I don't see, I won't know. But for the most part, y'all know that I'm here. So some parents are not involved in just sending kids to school, which, you know, their life and just things the way it is, you know, being busy. I understand. But like, you can do little stuff like that to be present.
Yeah.
You have to, because it's like, come on, you're going to let these people do, you know, do whatever they want, or whatever the case is. So, you know, I'm going into the schools now. I'm signing her up for the school she's in now, more opportunities. The town, basically, they get their the taxes that are taken out, they give back to the school. They're very hands-on with the schools there, the town. Education is like priority. So the classes are formed, you know, made for the children, you know, different behaviors, different, you know.
And she's in chorus, right? Isn't she?
Oh, she's in theater, chorus. Let me tell you,
wow.
Makes me so proud, because she's always been musically inclined. So Misa used to, like, at 2.5, 3 years old, so crazy. She would, and that's another thing, like, for some reason, like, when she was like 2.5, she would cry when there was like certain cartoons on the TV. Like, you know, those colorful, fast little, I think it was like, what's that puppy? There's like a dog cartoon, puppy, something anyway. No, not PJ Masks, the puppies. It's like a pup. Well, anyway, we noticed when there was like the colors on the cartoon, she would bawl and tell us, turn it, please. Like, bawl. Or for some reason, when the credits came on the screen, you know, when the movies ended, she would like cry. And what is going on?
Yeah.
But at one point, she used to watch some of these cartoons, but then it was just like she would bawl, or, you know, the credits, what have you. But she started watching like a lot of art, opera. You know, there was like on cable, was an art channel where there's like a lot of opera all day. She would, I don't know how, 2.5, 3 years old, she would find the episode on YouTube. Like, okay, we would be random watching cable, like in the house. You know, this is cable. This is the art channel. We got 1 through 200 channels. So the art channel is on, and this is like a random, like, opera show. Like, why she would find the same exact, I don't know if she went on a website, but she found the same exact episode and played it at the same time. Like a random something you watch randomly.
Yeah.
She finds it, and now she's playing it. So they're both talking at the same time. They're both. So she's always been like just techie and musically inclined. she's so smart. She teaches me stuff now, and I
Do
don't even.
do you think her being in that school helped pull that out of her? Like she had it in her, but it just pulled it out of her
Yes,
more.
more opportunities
Yeah.
to express herself.
Okay.
And once I seen theater auditions, and I know what she likes.
Mm-hmm.
She was in band. She's playing the snare drum for
Oh
like
wow.
2-3 years. So that, and signed her up for chorus.
Mm-hmm.
They have all these programs though, for the children, which
Mm-hmm.
is important for them to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Some cities, some communities, we don't even have access to these things. I remember growing up, I mean, I was in acting, I was in dance, I was in all of these things, and then you see now it's like these children don't have any,
Yeah, it's not
well,
available.
some, I'm not going to say all, but some schools just don't have the funding for
Mm-hmm.
certain things. But luckily, she's been thriving in the school, and she's in theater. So she's been in The Little Mermaid Junior. She's been in Matilda. She's been in Schoolhouse of
Wow.
Rock. She just was in Sister Act this summer. In house or outside, I try to keep her busy with
Mm-hmm.
whatever she likes to do. So, this allow her to express herself, and she's so confident. That's the other thing. She's
Mm-hmm.
so confident on stage, and she's just so amazing. So, I think this helped her a lot. Yes, with just embracing who she is,
Yeah.
knowing she hears autism. Trust me. I mean, I might be on the phone, or she hears it, autism, autism,
Mm-hmm.
autism. And I know sometimes, like, even now, I see her, like, and think, like, am I normal? Like, yes, you are normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a stigma still there.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as she knows who she is and knows that she's amazing, and autism is not something that she should be embarrassed about, because nobody's perfect, literally.
Yeah.
Like, we all got things going on, mental health got
Mm-hmm.
things going on,
Mm-hmm.
to be judging others.
Right.
Even kids,
Mm-hmm.
that you go to school with. That's what she's struggling now with. Bullying.
Oh, okay.
Some of her friends, groups, she's happy. Hi, everybody. How are you? They look at her like, what's wrong with her? Why is she so friendly? And it's like, and then they get together in a little group and start acting a certain way, and she thinking something's wrong with her. So she's coming to school and she's trying to tell me things that's happening, and I'm, me. I'm like, what? So I'm always emailing the teacher. She said this happened today. What's going on? Like, and she also has a therapist,
Okay.
because I'm like, with the bullying and all these things, and even life, like, adult things, children go through a lot. Being able to speak.
And you don't want to crush her confidence, because she says that she has like beautiful, like her confidence level is great, and
They'll make it go down. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because she's I've seen her, like, with her head down, and kids writing things about her, saying things, on the bus. That's another thing, Like I said, you have to make sure you communicate and show up. Bus companies, like, look, we're not going to do this. Like, another thing, she was traveling to certain times, no bus monitors on the bus. The kids are, what's wrong? Are y'all serious? I need everybody involved, everybody that works, has a responsibility with these children, to be on their jobs, because I'm not waiting for something to happen. Then it's gonna be a whole nother situation.
Yeah.
So let's not let it get there, and let's, communicate with everybody around your child. Okay? Make sure you show up. It doesn't matter how busy you are. You make that phone call. You let people know that your child has people that love them in their life, because if they don't, this is the world we live in. People will try to tear down your child's confidence, just by even doing something like ignoring them.
You're
even
right.
adults,
Right.
family, whatever, you got to communicate on behalf of your child.
Now let me ask you a question. Did you find your tribe, and what was that process like?
So this is, I haven't really, so I'm hands-on, like I said, in the community, right? So I have to constantly find resources and things like that. So even, where I'm from, live in a predominantly Black neighborhood, I have friends and family that probably have been through this. So I was able to, meet a few people in the community that had children on the spectrum or had like an initiative. So we would go to events where we would get resources and stuff. We would go meet people, different families. So now I'm meeting, different families. I'm in the community. Like everyone knows I'm an autism mom plus Misa. My work that I do, put together health fairs. I do a lot of things. So she's with me.
Okay.
So they know her. They know, like everyone knows her. So she meets so many friends. Because I'm like, listen, we're going to, sometimes I have my moments where I'm overwhelmed. But I'm like, I'm taking her with me. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's hard because it's like I'm working, right? I have to watch her, make sure she's not, walking away or in danger or something. But you have people like some of my close, friends or whatever, like, I got her, like, she's good. And I'm like, still like, I don't know. I'm still checking in, like, you okay? But it's like, they like, it's all right,
But what is that like to have to relinquish a little bit of control?
It's not easy. It's not easy because it's like when you're like doing all of these things, making sure all she's in place with what she needs. It's like if I don't, or if I turn my head away once and something happens or whatever, then I'm going to feel guilty. Like, that's a problem. So I'm like, I try to control the situations a lot, but it's like at the end of the day, you have to have trust. You have to have trust. If you don't have a tribe, you create your own tribe. You make space. So the women around me, a lot of them don't have access or didn't know a lot of resources that I found on my own. And this is from me being resourceful. So I'm finding, resources, during the pandemic. And shout out to Track Autism. I love them. They basically are a social skills agency for children on the spectrum during the pandemic, which was a lonely time for a lot of people. I came across them and we would do Zooms online, and she would be able to have social engagement with other children, play games online with them, connect forward, just,
That's incredible.
So when the pandemic was over, we were able to go in person. What did we do? Some of the things we did. Misa, yoga. She loves yoga. We met Kristen, who is amazing. She was a yoga teacher for children on the spectrum. They had cooking classes. They would say, I would drop her off. The class, I think the day they was like there for like 3 hours, maybe doing yoga or just walking around the community, would take the children. They're like, go for 2 hours, mom, like go. And I would just sit by the water. I would still be nervous because I'm like, I don't know what she's doing. And I'm, getting to know everybody, but they're like, go. And other parents would leave their children as well. It's an agency. It's a social skill agency. They do so many things, Track Autism. And it's like they would give me a breather, like just to, even if it's for an hour, it makes so much more difference. And mentally, because you got to mentally be really prepared for this life. You can't just, this is a whole nother life, like a whole nother situation.
It's just one aspect of it, because then other things happen in life, right? We lose people,
relationships
change. It's a lot.
It's
Medical
a lot.
issues, may arise and things like that.
It's a lot. But you have to keep pushing. You have to get to know your community. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We did a couple of months ago, we did some of my friends and I, and just random people, we kind of opened the door for any autism mom. We got a whole bunch of food donated from our local restaurants, and shout out to the Peace Mobile, the YMCA. They actually have this big charter bus and allowed us to have feet massage.
Oh, that's incredible.
Food, we were able to just talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, like, I love all my friends, I love everybody, but it's something with, like, autism moms that I really connect with more, like, because we get it, we understand. So it's and this space here is just amazing. Once I came across this online, I was like, wow. And I'm, very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a quiet person. I love people.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously talking and I'm, engaging
Yeah.
with you, but I'm technically like, I just deal with things alone. I don't ask for help. I don't ask to share my voice. But it's like all these things that I'm doing in the community, even with Misa, showing up, showing that autism needs to be included. You don't have to, inclusiveness is very important in these spaces. People need to get to know children on the spectrum, people might look at you weird. Like, if sometimes the child is stimming, Misa still stims. Like, people look at her and I'm like, looking at them like, I'm like a mama bear. I'm like very overprotective of her. Like, because I love her so much and I know she's so innocent. But it's just like, open yourself to community, get resources. They're out there.
And so you have dropped so many gems throughout this episode of so much advice. And so I want to package that for that mom that is out there listening to your journey, because there's so much. And it takes a lot of strength to be able to handle what we handle on so many levels. But also the strength to be able to say, yeah, I need help, or I guess you can kind of watch. That's hard.
Yeah.
But what would you tell that mom out there who is struggling with, like, I don't know if the school is telling me the truth or not, and I don't know if the pediatrician's the right pediatrician. This is my first child with autism. What would you tell that mom out there?
What I would tell that mother is, fight for your child. Don't give up. Fight for them. Advocate for them. Speak up for them. Be their voice. Know that they don't have to be subjected to just one thing. Like, they don't have to be in a box. You don't have to be in a box. But the main thing is for you to really, really, really make it a priority to take care of yourself, because you cannot do anything. You can't do anything for them unless you do it for you. And you need your therapist. You need to end certain relationships that might be toxic, okay? Because environments are important. You need to exercise. You need to get ready for the fight, but don't stop your life, don't stop your life. I'm very creative. I love photography. It's like, that's like a healing thing for me. That's my thing. So you got to find your thing, whether you like to write, whether, use your testimony, but you have to take care of yourself in order for you to even have. So those things that I mentioned, that's first and foremost. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy to let go certain, and I'm not saying let go certain relationships just like that, but you have to make sure things are serving you as well. Like, serving each other. If it's not serving each other, then you need to really create that life that's going to support you. And don't feel apologetic about it, because at the end of the day, I know for me as a mother, the main thing that I think about all the time is basically, the main thing I think about is my life and her life. I need to keep myself mentally and physically okay so I can see her grow. All right. I don't want to ever leave this world. Like, I think about it and I say, man, sorry to say, but if I knew that one day I would have to die and go to heaven, I probably wouldn't have children if I really thought about it like that, because the way this world is right now, it's just crazy. But God is good. You have to have some type of spiritual alignment, because everybody's situation is different. I mean, I could be in a supermarket and I already know when a child's on a spectrum, and I'd be like, it's okay. Like, I just try to be compassionate to the parent, because some of them don't know. They were like me. Yeah. Embarrassed or whatever the case is. If you could do something to help a mom, like she sees she's, just make it easier. And another thing about us as a Black community, we got to stop looking at each other funny and stop, side eyeing and looking at each other like, what's wrong with this person if they yell out loud or they stim or they just different than you are. Stop looking at them like that, because energy is transferable. We want to give good energy, and we want to know that none of us are perfect. There might be somebody in your family that has special needs. You might have special needs and not even know it. People deal with things socially, can't really be around people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, in this world, you gotta be around people, and you gotta respect people as well if you want that. So speaking from an autism mom, let's be respectful. Because we want to be friendly. We want to be loving. And
wow,
that's a lot. I feel like
that's a lot of gems. Like, I wish I had, Christian, maybe can I make something that has gems coming down and then applause? Like, but I mean, that came from the heart, right? And your bravery of being able to speak out and shows that you really want to help that next mom or whoever, caretaker out there that may be struggling. And I so appreciate you coming on the show. And I know there's like many moms who are going to be like, how do I find her? How can they reach you? What can they do? Where are you at?
I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm going to be, exploring a little more with the social media and just doing more things.
Okay.
But I'm on Instagram. I'm here. You can always reach out to me if you need anything, have a question, or just need a space to talk, or whatever it is. Use me as an inspiration. Know that it's not just me out here. There's other autism badass moms that are doing the work. We all got different things going on. We all have a life that we're trying to live and fulfill, to set up this for our children, at least for them to see that we didn't give up.
No.
So,
Now, I know you said you do photography, self-care. Is it a business or is it?
Well, I do have a photography business.
Okay.
And right now I'm trying to, as far as the creativity and just even our community, because I love community, obviously. That's just something that, I'm always willing to help and going out my way to find resources. So I'm trying to bridge that creativity and community gap so we can heal through this.
Yeah.
We all need to find something to do.
Yeah.
To be able to, love each other and help each other. When we're happy, when we know who we are, that's what it starts with.
Yeah. And we'll definitely have like your information in the show notes for a mom out there that wants to just either just say like, wow, your story is inspiring, or you gave me hope, that I could keep going. And when I thought my child wouldn't be able to do, you know what? Look at her daughter, just blossoming in all that she's doing.
She's amazing. She's a public speaker.
Yes, that's beautiful.
So I want y'all will see more of her for sure. That's my little butterfly.
Misa.
But I have to let her spread her wings.
It's hard.
I try to protect her because I'm like, but she's just so amazing.
So talented.
So amazing.
Yeah.
And sweet.
I got one more question for you. So what makes Mitzi so badass?
What makes me so badass is that I probably will never take no for an answer. Like, rejection is actually protection. I've been rejected, but I'll never, rejected from, I'm just saying, life, right? We all get rejected. And one of my fears is Misa, being rejected. And it's like, don't give up. I'll never give up on myself. So that's why I'm a badass mom, is because I'll never give up on myself. Therefore, I'll never give up on Misa. She's good. So God is good. So.
Oh, that made me emotional. Wow. So, yeah, you are badass in so many ways. I am so happy that you came. A lot of times, we do Zoom when we have guests, but that you came here, just feeling your energy, is just really good. Just feeling just where you were, and I'm sure you evolved through this whole process, right? Because I think we change in some ways. It humbles us and stuff. But, I feel lucky to be in your presence, and love to have you back on the show because listen, there's so many things you dropped that it's just like, oh my gosh, I need to watch this again.
I appreciate, you beautiful ladies, your energy, just welcoming. Amina, shout out to Amina, because I had my first interview with her and she kind of sat with me and like listened to all these things.
Yeah.
And it is so important. And it's just like, there's a lot of autism moms doing great things.
Yeah.
But I appreciate this space here because, especially women of color, we don't get to tell our stories or, we feel like, maybe our voice isn't important. Like, we go through so much sometimes that it's like, no, share your voice. This is a part of your healing. So, yeah, shout out to you all.
100%.
Appreciate you so much. And it's
Christian
and Ray. Because Ray, we drove
Ray's
over
here.
there. Yeah, so I appreciate him.
Thank you for bringing her. Thank you. So, yes, I truly appreciate you being on the show. Would love to have you come back.
Come back. I love this space. Like whatever y'all need from me, I'm here. I'm here. I'm a part of your community now. Whatever you need.
Appreciate you.
I'm here.
Appreciate you. I gotta get over to Yonkers.
Yes, no, we can.
Yeah,
Westchester.
I've been talking about a badass. What did I say, Christian? Badass tour. So let's do Yonkers.
Yes, they got the Hollywood on the Hudson now.
So we could do it.
By the water.
Mm-hmm. We could definitely do it. But thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you for. It takes a fat ass mom to be able to be vulnerable, to share our story, the good stuff that you want to share, but also the rough moments that we have. It's a struggle. So again, thank you, moms. Listen, reach out. These moms that come on want you to reach out to them. They want to be a support to you. They don't want you to go through what they went through, what I went through, not knowing, one, what we were dealing with, two, the pain and the guilt and the shame and having to advocate in all different arenas, not even just a school, healthcare, all that. Insurance companies, we can get into that. But just share your story, just like you said. Share your story. It's okay to talk to that next, mom or whoever when you're struggling. It's okay. And as, being, Black women, we really need, like you said, we really need to come together and support each other, especially because when we look at the rates of autism, unfortunately, Black boys have the highest rate of autism. And unfortunately, about 70-80% of relationship parents break up. So we got to do better.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to do better. So on that note, stay fierce, stay determined, and stay courageous like Miss Mitzi. And next time you have to bring her.
Oh, I'm going to bring her. Maybe that's the next thing we could do. Do something.
Oh,
maybe interview her.
Yes. Oh my gosh. She's gonna have me spinning.
She will.
Shout out to Misa. She's probably so great. So thank you. All right, y'all. See you next Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.